So I got to ask, a young Rockets team, they got to feel mad confident going back to San Francisco.
100%. A win like this shows me and gives me confidence that, look, we're a better team than this team. Like, we can beat them at their own game. We can muck it up. We can get physical with them. We can get out and run. This is the type of dominating performance where, again, we're still down in the series, but we have a lot to prove and that we can hang with this team. And again, this was, like you said, this was over.
It was weird.
Quick. This was an ass whooping. On the other side, this has to be eye-opening for the Warriors that we need to clean up a lot of things. The only good news is they were able to rest guys. They were able to get them off their feet with Jimmy being banged up and pulling guys out. I think that obviously is a good thing. But man, this series now is real. 3-2, and the Rockets have all the confidence in the world going forward.
It feels pretty good, Lou. I'm wondering, do the Warriors feel a lot of pressure today?
No, I think they waved the white flag because they have a lot of experience in this area. Last night they laid an egg and they knew they laid an egg, so you throw the white flag in. I'm gonna allow my guys to rest up. Let's get ready for a closeout game. Let's get ready for a big game. And we've been here before. We have the capabilities, we have the personnel, we got everything that we need, that we feel like we can win a big-time Game 6. And so why not go out there and why not go out and prove it? You know, so that's what I saw from Steve Kerr. He realized that his team just didn't have it. Why keep these guys on the floor longer? Let's start preparing for the next game, especially when I have a Steph Curry, Draymond Green, a Jimmy Butler leading my way. I feel really confident in my chances in going to close this thing out. But you got to give credit to Houston as well. They played like they were the number 2 seed. You know, we've given a lot of credit to Golden State because Golden State has been the more aggressive and a better team in this series. But by seeding, Houston is supposed to be able to compete at this level. They're supposed to be able to put themselves in a position to make this series go as deep as it's going now. So last night was a bad showing for the Warriors, but everybody knows how they usually respond to things like this. I'm looking forward to an exciting, great Game 6. So
I think it is a little scary how they're going to respond.
Well, and the fact that they get to go to their home. This is their Game 7. You do not want to go back to Houston. It is all cards on deck. You're going to see them play a lot of minutes. And again, that's why I think it was valuable that they kind of pulled the plug and let them rest, especially with Jimmy's
But they started to come back,
injury.
and I was like, oh, interesting.
But again, now this is their Game 7. Like I said, you do not want this young team going to that environment in Game 7, and that is why home court is so important. That's why it was extremely important that they got the 2 seed and got home court advantage. But Game 6, this is going to be great. If they don't finish them off Game 6, I'm scared for Golden State. They have to.
Really? Are we looking at a world?
Yeah.
All these young teams.
Warriors and Lakers possibly out first round.
I can hear people crying in the office. This is going to be bad.
This is a big one. This is Game 6. It's all on the line. Game 6.
It's kind of a big deal. Let's talk about what the Rockets did, by the way, because even in our little thread, Steph and Jimmy were scoreless for the first 18 minutes of a game. And 18 minutes in an NBA game is forever, Lou. So A, what did the Rockets do? And B, how does Golden State fix that in this next one?
I just think they got to be themselves. You know, last night they just didn't show up. The Rockets jumped on them early. They were able to play with a lot of confidence. The ball was moving around. Amon Thompson was having a night. So when you have guys like that that's rolling, it's difficult to run it. And again, we're talking about a team that's won 4 championships. In the years that they didn't win championships, they still have deep playoff runs. They have so much experience in this area. Steve Kerr knows the pulse of his team. He knows what the vibe is. He knew last night wasn't their night. And again, when you're going home in a closeout game and you know you got an opportunity to go to your home court, I'm going to bet on myself and I'm going to sit these guys. I'm going to allow them an opportunity to get an extra hour or so worth of rest. And we're going to get ready for Game 6. You know, so if I'm Golden State, I feel very confidently about my chances in closing this thing out in the Chase Center. On the flip side, if I'm the Houston Rockets and I can force this thing back to my court, now I feel like I have the advantage. So if Golden State doesn't close this thing out tonight, we're looking at a completely different series going the other way.
Yeah, and how about Udoka too? We give Finch credit for sticking with Gobert and sticking big when the Lakers went small. This dude's gone pressure full court 94 feet. This guy's went to a zone. This guy's went switching. This is the beauty of playoff basketball. You take away what they do better, and you continue to counter with that. And Udoka has done a beautiful job switching everything, switching coverages. They went to a zone last night that really stifled them. So like you can look, he's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them. So interesting Game 6. it'll be
You really just use that?
awesome.
Oh, my God. I'm going to mock him in this commercial break. We're going to take a quick one on the...
There he is.
Hey, what's up, Lewis?
Looking
How are you
cozy.
feeling today? Yeah, looking very cozy.
How we doing?
Is that one of those, like, teddy bear tops? Yum-yums.
Yeah, I ordered it off of one of the ads on social media.
It's a little barefoot dreamish.
All right, we're done. We're going to critique Lou every day.
Yum Yum is just wild.
You know,
I got away from the candy. Y'all gonna find something.
Yeah, we'll
so
find something. Don't you worry about that. And then there's Chandler as well. Guys, what just happened? The Lakers, everyone calm down. Networks calm down. We're still going to have basketball.
Adios.
But the Lakers will not be there. T-Wolves in 5, 103-96. Second straight first round exit for Los Angeles. Rudy Gobert with 27 and 24.
Say it again.
Both of those are career playoff highs. Jay Randall, that's Julius to you. 23, 5 and 4. Ant with 15, 11 and 8, but it was hilarious after the game. T-Wolves in 5. That's wild. Nobody had this. Nobody. Ant knew that. It was kind of insane. So I gotta start with you, Lou. As far as upsets in these playoffs go, is this the biggest by far?
Yeah, by far, this is the biggest upset. This is a Lakers team. A few weeks ago, we were talking about being championship contenders with the way that they were playing. They had the small ball thing figured out, had a lot of guys clicking on all cylinders. Then they ran into a brick wall. They just became stagnant in the playoffs, didn't get over that hump. I think Minnesota did a great job of adjusting game by game, keeping things fresh, trying different looks, trying different lineups, and it worked for them, and so I think the Lakers just fell flat, didn't adjust well, didn't find any production from that bench, and it made them top heavy, and eventually those guys got tired, and that's the reason the results that we saw, that was the result of that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I feel like usually when you see a 3 seed against a 6 seed or a 2 seed against a 7 seed, that team is heavily favored.
Yeah.
This year, the Western Conference was so stacked that, it's an upset for sure, but from the standpoint of seedings and standings, yeah, it's an upset. But look at the regular season record. The Lakers were 50 and 32, and the Timberwolves were 49 and 33.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Not
a
real.
3 beating a 6 or a 6 beating a 3. Is that crazy? Now, it is the Lakers, and it's LeBron James, and it's Luka, and the big trade. There were more, I feel like, championship expectations for the Lakers than the Timberwolves. But we called this from rip. Listen, we're wrong sometimes, but when we're right, we're right. This is a bad matchup for the Lakers. Their athleticism, what the Lakers do great when they go small, the Timberwolves offset that, and they do it better. We said Julius Randle had to equalize LeBron James. He did. He was fantastic. And then you had Rudy Gobert last night, who I'm actually super hyped for. He dominated. It's weird to not see this more often, but they didn't give him touches. They didn't call plays for him. They didn't give him the rock and let him eat. He was just doing all the little things. He was slipping, screening, offensive tip dunks. He was doing all the things that a 7-footer should do, playing against small forwards. So this was great. It's an upset, but it's not the craziest upset given the circumstances of the West this year and how even it was.
No, look, the fact that it was in 5, I think, is probably something
that's a little shocking.
That feels a little upsetty, I suppose. We got to stick with Rudy Gobert, and I know it pains a lot of people today to have to give the man his flowers. And you know what? I get it. That's on you. But 27 and 24, 9 of those are offensive rebounds, by the way. He sort of just was everywhere. Even if he wasn't in the shot, all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere flying. When we look back, Lou, is this going to be considered Rudy Gobert's best game?
Absolutely. And listen, the team that establishes their style of play, like when you get into a playoff series and you get to game 4, you get to game 5, everybody knows everybody's tricks, everybody knows your playbook. But the first team that established their style of play usually has success. Like, we look at the totality of what Rudy Gobert was able to do. I'm watching this game. Listen, he scores the first 4 points of this game. Then they throw it to him again. He ducks Luka in, gets an early foul on Luka. This is establishing your big man. So instead of allowing the Lakers to play small ball, now you got to play the way we want you to play. Like, we found a place for Rudy. They were able to trump the small ball. You had smaller guys. You had Hachimura guarding Rudy, and he was able to eat on the offensive glass. Now, granted, on the other end, their game plan was, well, we're going to stretch Rudy out, make him play beyond the three-point line. And Hachimura, he had some success in the three-point line because Rudy is in the paint so much. But on the other end of the floor, you can't stop him from getting offensive rebounds. He was catching lobs. He was active on the defensive end. Like, he was just a dominant presence last night in this game, and he was the difference maker.
Yeah, and what's you got to give Chris Finch too the credit because again we knew they were going to go small, and we knew that the Timberwolves had kind of that equalizer lineup with Naz Reid, with Julius Randle. They said we don't even need to do that tonight. We're going to stick with our guns. We're going to play our guy and make them the ones that are the small, make them the ones that are going to get punished on the offensive glass, and that's exactly what Rudy Gobert did. So it's great to have this versatile lineup where you have these multiple options where you can go small and be great, run the floor, shoot a lot of threes, but I love the fact that he's stuck with Rudy because he's always been an elite defender. There was early on in the series where he was getting blown off the dribble a little bit. Last night he made more of a conscious effort on that end. Maybe you need to get him going a little bit, get him some easy buckets because last night this was the best all-around game I've seen from Rudy, probably in his career.
I mean, first 20-point game in the playoffs since 21. That's notable.
He was playing so well, he had to go find Max Kleber and try to give him some good minutes. Like, for a guy that hadn't played yet for the Lakers, you go away from Jackson Hayes, you're trying to find somebody to match his physicality, to match his size. There was nobody out there to do that for Rudy, and that's who they needed him to be. Early on in this series, we didn't know where he fit. We thought maybe they were just going to have to play small ball. Naz Reid was going to have to play a lot of minutes, but again, when you have a guy that goes and gets 9 offensive rebounds, a double-double in a 20-20 type of game, like you have to find minutes for him, and you make the other team adjust opposed to you. So kudos to Rudy. He did everything he was supposed to do in a closeout game.
Here's the downside of having a game like Rudy had last night. Now the rest of us are like, well, how come you're not doing this more often? Well, we want to see more of this, Rudy. What's happening? We expect it now.
Yeah, and again, this wasn't because he got touches. It wasn't because they were giving him the ball on like a, off the block post up, baby hook, fade away. Like he was just, it was all effort. It was size. It was length. It was energy. He did all those things that he could be doing consistently all night long. So again, I know their small ball lineup is great. We didn't know how Rudy and Julius Randle would mix. There's a way now, and there's a will, and there's a blueprint for it, and we just saw it last night.
I am happy for Julius Randle.
Chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay mình hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng. Ô, ngày trước mình nói câu đầu tiên hay thế nào nhé?